I'm currently a student making over $10,000 a month, and I know for a fact that everyone wants to know how to do this. The problem is that there's a lot of gurus making it seem way easier than it actually is while giving you the wrong information. So I was just thinking, if I could go back to my first year of university, what steps would I take to make $10,000 more quickly than I originally did? Knowing what I know right now, I would do exactly what I'm about to share in this video. And I'm going to cover the three main parts you need to pay attention to if you want to make $10,000 a month as a student. The first thing you need to make $10,000 a month as a student is the right opportunity. Let me explain what I mean. You see, what you really need is an opportunity that's big enough, but it's not too risky that you can actually make $10,000 a month as a student. Now, I will say that me personally, I hit 10K a month when I was 18, so you know that I'm speaking from personal experience. But it doesn't necessarily have to be this way for everyone, and I'm going to talk about that later on in this video. You need an opportunity, a way to make that kind of money, but without risking losing everything you've got. So firstly, you need to avoid trading. It's too risky, and the people selling you trading courses make money when you lose. Instead, invest that $1,000 into a small online business. By the end of the year, you could earn more than a typical 9-to-5 job, and you can do it from anywhere. To actually make money, you need something that generates cash flow, meaning profit that you can actually use. People often focus on net worth, like, oh, he's worth $1 million, but that's actually misleading. His net worth might be tied up in his company, making him cash poor. When you're starting a business, having your money tied up is not where you want to be. So there's many types of businesses like e-commerce or dropshipping brands which might seem like the ideal business model. They're not actually very profitable because even with the small profit margins that they make, they still have to reinvest most of the money back into their business. For example, I've run many dropshipping businesses that have made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. It sounds good and all on the outside, but I would barely operate on 20% margins, meaning I only keep a fifth of the money that I make. And what's even more, I can't even pocket the profits that I make because they go right back into testing ads again and scaling. So even if it looks like a six-figure business with decent margins, the profits aren't readily available because they get reinvested. That's a whole different situation compared to a service-based business. If you're providing services to clients like creating ads or providing short-form content like TikTok or Instagram Reels, you're dealing with an entirely different financial business model. Listen, whatever service you offer, it needs to either have high perceived value or high leverage. By high perceived value, I mean something that clients can see as well worth their money. They should be willing to pay you a good amount each month because they see the benefits. On the high leverage side, think about scaling your service. For example, you might be a video editor, and to make 10K a month, you need to hire other video editors under you. You'd pay them a fee and they do most of the editing, and that's leverage. Another example is a thumbnail creating agency. Thumbnails are crucial on YouTube, but people don't really pay a ton for them. You could outsource the work to someone in another country for a reasonable salary, which will allow you to focus on growing your business. That's also leverage. So you can either offer something so valuable that you make $10,000 a month on your own, or scale your business using leverage, maybe sacrificing some margins but making more money overall. To make $10,000, as the title of this video says, you'll need a few things: a skill, a method to earn money, a solid routine, good health, and good mindset. I'm gonna focus on these 5 points now. First, the skill I think you should aim to develop is sales, persuasion, and even copywriting. These skills are gonna be extremely useful, especially if you're considering starting a service-based agency or business. Now, if you're starting from zero, like literally no money in your bank account, you need to consider getting a job. Even if it's just a typical student job or multiple part-time jobs, having no money means you have no leverage. You need to understand that having $100 or having $1,000 in your bank account makes no difference. You're still broke. So get a job, and ideally aim for one that allows you to interact with people. This way, when you're ready to start a service-based agency, you'll have yourself in the best starting position possible. Make sure you know that this job is going to be a temporary thing, and don't fall into the paycheck trap. The reason so many people are living paycheck to paycheck is because it's a safety net. They always know that there's a paycheck coming in 2 weeks which will cover their rent, groceries, etc., just enough to get them by. You cannot think this way if you actually want to become wealthy. Use a job as a temporary solution to get some startup capital in your bank account, which you will then use to invest into the business that you want to start. Doing something like getting a job really helps you identify your strengths. For example, I realized my strength wasn't talking, which is also why I've been so consistently active on YouTube. But here's the catch: I wouldn't have gotten to this point if I didn't have a job that helped me engage with people. It taught me the art of speaking and how to get reactions just through words. So the first step is learning a skill, and in our case, focus on talking, sales, and persuasion. These are essential skills that can truly influence people. So that was number one, which is skill development, which is very important. We'll circle back to number two, which is the method of making money later. Now on to health and routine, which are interlinked. Even if your bank account is empty, consider investing in a high-end gym. Why? because it offers networking opportunities with high-level individuals. Being likable in such places can open doors to possibilities that can keep you financially stable. As for my choice of gyms, I've always gone for the pricier ones because of the environment that they provide. Wealthy people tend to surround themselves with other wealthy people. Your surroundings can largely influence your future. That's why you should aim for quality and not just affordability when it comes to gym membership. In terms of routine, aim to work out 4 times a week minimum. I personally work out 6 times a week because I have time freedom. Physical activity generates friction and energy in your body, unlocking potential you never even knew you had. Now, an important piece of advice which some may not agree with, you need to consume more caffeine. While it's not scientifically proven, I've observed that there's a correlation between high caffeine intake and increased earnings and performance. Take it with a grain of salt, but it's a thought if you don't mind having lots of caffeine. Moving on to number 5, mindset. And don't worry, we'll return to number 2 about the method to make money, so hang tight. Mindset is extremely important. Your thoughts shape your reality. If things go wrong in your life, you have the power and responsibility to change it. Financial success starts internally. You have to become rich in your mindset to see it become external. This doesn't mean you need to reach unlimited wisdom to be wealthy, but shifting your mentality from scarcity to abundance changes your external circumstances. Regarding money, whether you have $5,000 or $500 in your bank account, it isn't a significant difference in the grand scheme of things. You need to reframe your thinking to see that $10,000 is attainable. Once you internalize this, reaching that goal becomes much more possible in your head. Now finally, going back to number 2, which I had skipped, methods to make money. There are countless ways of earning income, so don't limit yourself to just one. Once you start working multiple jobs and communicating with a broader range of people, not to mention sharpening skills like speaking and persuasion, you'll begin to understand your own strength. Use these strengths as a competitive edge in a business that requires them. Now, what I mean by that is, for instance, if you're really good at public speaking, consider starting a YouTube channel. This platform allows you to connect with people while growing your personal brand, all while capitalizing on your skills. Keep in mind that the business models I'm discussing aren't your ticket to making millions of dollars. I'll be upfront about that. However, they also aren't a fast track to losing all your money, which is the case with some of the other businesses. To give you an idea, one of my businesses is selling my dropshipping course, which has made a lot of money. But getting there required a lot of initial investments and some advantages like having a large audience on YouTube. It took me a while to feel prepared enough to launch a business like that. While that business didn't scale to the millions of dollars, it did bring in a consistent income of over $10,000 a month. So the point is, the business model that might get you a stable $10,000 monthly income won't necessarily make you $1 million, and that's perfectly fine. The key is to select the right business model suited to your current career path and skills. Take it step by step. There's no need to rush. You're still a student. After you've chosen the right business model is to adjust your expectations, especially when it comes to time. Social media has messed up our perception of success. 2 decades ago, if you were 18 and making $3,000 a month without being tied to a 9-to-5 job, you'd be considering yourself very successful. Fast forward to today and the narrative has changed. Now, you might be 18, not working a 9-to-5, enjoying both location and time freedom, and yet you'll still feel like you're not doing enough if you're not pulling in $10,000 a month or more. It's not the right way of viewing success. I often tell people that my own career achievements at this age aren't even normal. 50% of it comes from sheer dedication and hard work, and the other 50% comes from being in the right place at the right time with the right business. So manage your expectations and extend your timeline for success, because it's not usually an overnight journey. I can't emphasize enough the importance of framing your financial goals in terms of years and not months. Instead of wondering how many months it will take to make $10,000 a month, consider how many years it might take. If you achieve that goal more quickly, that's fantastic, and I couldn't be happier for you. While the aim is obviously to accumulate wealth as early as possible, remember that building lasting wealth is usually a slower process. But by all means, try your best to speed up that process. You'll even learn quicker that way. The final piece of the puzzle for earning $10,000 a month is not just reaching that milestone, but sustaining it. It helps to know in advance where the toughest stretches will be, so you're better mentally prepared. I want to provide context for what it means to not only reach that 10K mark, but how to actually maintain it. Believe it or not, hitting the $10,000 a month mark is often the easier part. The real challenge lies in maintaining that income level and growing it further. Now, I don't want to sound insensitive, because I understand that for some, the concept of easy is out of the question. However, in my experience and from observing countless others, I can say that sustaining and growing your income becomes the more difficult part. It's not just about making the money, but also about retaining and multiplying it. Even if you consider yourself new money, learn the practices of old money to learn better how to preserve and multiply your own wealth. We all have financial baselines, levels which beneath we become uncomfortable. Years ago, my baseline was just something like $1,000 a month. Since then, I've had the privilege to escalate my career to the point where I can't even imagine myself making less than $10,000 $10,000 a month. The idea is to make that $10,000 a month not just a part of your goal, but a part of your financial identity, where if you fall below that baseline, you just get uncomfortable. So to summarize, get to $10,000 a month, but don't stop there. Make that your new baseline, push it in your financial identity, and continue to grow. Also, what I'm emphasizing here is the abundance of opportunities that are out there to generate income. You're not restricted to a single path, but it's crucial to focus initially on mastering a specific skill, whether it's sales, persuasion, or public speaking. Getting experience in one area will provide a massive toolset that you can apply to various different business models. Here's the thing, if you're a student, focus on action now more than just consuming and waiting around. Less thinking and more doing. This was a problem for me before. I would get confused on whether to go into dropshipping, Amazon FBA, or multiple other side hustles. The key is to just get into something, especially if you have a job that generates steady cash flow. Give it your all, it's simpler than you think. I hope this video was useful to you, and just know that wherever you are in your journey, I'll be cheering for you on the other side.